Hello everyone, I'm Qatari and welcome back to the Red Devils podcast. It's a match day, lots to talk about. There are tons and tons of stuff. I'm really sorry that I couldn't upload the video last time because there was some technical difficulty. Unfortunately, I recorded the full video, but then it was without any audio. So I'm really sorry about that. But let's talk about today because there are some very interesting news floating around Manchester United at this time. And in fact, there is some very interesting news around Manchester, but not Manchester United. It's from Manchester City. And I mean, of course, everybody in the Premier League world knows about this, that Manchester City have been facing an charges against that fraud charges that they have broken like tons and tons of rules for past in the past 12 years, and that's not news for us because everybody who's watching Premier League for past 10 12 for more than a decade, they know this very well, that Man City have been doing tons and tons of idiotic stuff. And there was this summer window, I don't actually recall that, when they bought 15 players in one window. And since they have got those oil owners, I mean, I don't want to specify that because we have also news about Qatari Investment for Man United, but we're gonna delve into that a little bit later. We also have transfer news to talk about, so we're gonna talk about that also. But as I was saying, let's circle back to that Manchester City thing, that everybody on the Twitter and even on different podcasts, they are talking about Premier League should strip off Man City's titles of all those years. But I don't think so that's gonna happen, because in fact there are many people are talking about that we should strip points from Man City. I mean, first of all, that's not going to happen, because it's going to whatever this is happening inside Manchester, inside Premier League, it's going to take at least 4 to 6 months to be sorted out. Because believe me, or maybe more than that, I'm not even sure about 4 to 6 months. Maybe it's going to take more than a year, and then they will decide what they're going to do with Man City. But as of now, I don't think so it's going to impact on this season's result or this season's impending matches. And that's pretty much very disappointing, because we are at third place, and I know we don't have a title winning squad, and we are lacking depth. In fact, we have injury news also. We're going to talk about that also. And still, we don't want Man City to break that record of winning 3 Premier League titles back to back. We don't want that, because that's our title. That's our title record, and we don't want that. And as of this moment, only Man City is one team who can actually challenge Arsenal for that title. And it kills me and it pains me to say this, but I really want Arsenal to win this league this year. I don't want Man City to be anywhere nearer to that title. So unfortunately, we are at that point of stage that we are relying on Arsenal so that they can win the league. But let's talk about the Manchester City stuff, because as soon as they got those new owners, the oil owners, and since then they have been making idiotic transfers. They have been signing players, and they practically have a first team 11 on their bench every single year. Every single season they have been doing that, and since Guardiola came, they have been chucking in money like hell, and there was nobody stopping them. There was even there are some news that the corporations behind the investment in Manchester City's funds is a very shallow, and they don't even have offices as of now. So that's basically illegal, that's fraud. And Man City will definitely face something. There are many people talking about the relegation thing, that Man City should be relegated. I'm pretty much sure about this. It's not going to happen sooner. But if it's going to happen, I'll be very happy with that, because we have all been like really frustrated and annoyed when we saw Man City chucking in money in every summer window or even January window like that. And if they're gonna get relegated for that in the next season, or maybe after that, I'll be okay with it. I'll be absolutely fine with it, because I really want. It's not even just about Man United, because there are rumors that specific representatives of the top 6 clubs and from some of the bottom clubs are actually pushing Premier League to press charges against Man City. So if there are many teams, not even just not the top 6 teams, there are many more teams that come from the those are mid-table teams. They are actually forcing Premier League and are actually pressing their charges that they should do something against it. So in all fairness, I'll be okay with it. I don't want Premier League to strip off Man City's titles, because if you're gonna strip off Man City with of their titles, what are you gonna do next? Because if you are stripping Man City of their Premier League titles, you're gonna give it to somebody, and obviously you're gonna give it to whoever team is at number 2, and that's disappointing, because we were on the number 2 only one time when Jose Mourinho led us to that second position. But besides that, either it was Liverpool or Spurs or Arsenal again. So nobody likes handouts. You know what? Nobody likes handouts, and I don't want a handout title. I want finally we are on a roll, and Erik Ten Hag is building something that is somewhat equivalent to what Sir Alex Ferguson did back in those 90s era. So I'm quite happy with it. I'm patient with it. I know I backed this manager when we were talking about Pochettino. I used to say this on Instagram, that we need Erik Ten Hag as the manager, as the person who should be the sole decision maker. Who should we buy and who should we sell? So kind of like I'm backing up the manager, and if Man City is relegated, or if Man City faces some charges, I'll be okay with it. I'll be fine with it. And because in all fairness, we all want that to happen, because Man City have been kind of looting Premier League for at least for 7 to 8 years. So if that's gonna happen, I'll be okay with it. And moving on, let's talk about press conference, because last night there was a press conference for today's game, Leeds match, and don't forget that we are facing Leeds repeatedly, because today is a match day. We are facing Leeds at home, and then on Sunday or Saturday, I guess on Sunday we are facing an away Leeds match. So quite an exciting week, because 2 Leeds game back to back, and then we have Barcelona in the midweek, and it's an away game. And see, there are some matches, even if they are in Europa League, even if they are Europa League clashes, the magnitude of those matches is big enough to make you shit your pants, because when it's Manchester United facing Barcelona in Nou Camp, you're gonna watch it regardless of if you're a Barcelona fan or a Madrid fan or a Man City or Liverpool or Arsenal. It doesn't matter. These sort of matches these sort of matches are sort of humongous. If you're gonna say in one word, these matches are humongous, and we've all been raised when we were watching the English Manchester United giants facing Messi, Pedro, Xavi, and I keep forgetting his name. Even when Pep Guardiola was a Barcelona manager, and when Jose Mourinho was a Barcelona manager. So kind of like these sort of matches are like stalwart matches, and you want to watch them. And after a long time, Manchester United is again actually having these sort of matches. I'm sure it's obvious it's a Europa League clash. It's not as big of like a Champions League match, but still, it's Man United versus Barcelona once again. How often do you say that in the past decade? In the past decade, which Manchester United fan had an opportunity of saying this, that we are facing Barcelona at Nou Camp? So, I'm fine with it. Even if it's Europa League, I'm okay with it. And let's talk about the Premier League. Premier League. Let's talk about the press conference reaction. And as I've been saying this for the past month, sooner or later, our players will get injured. And behold, now Antony is also injured. I mean, it's not a very serious injury. Erik Ten Hag never mentioned this in the press conference, but there were many outlets talking about this. He has something a knock in his shoulder. There's something, either it's a muscle spasm or something, but he won't be involved in today's game, but he will be back in Sunday's game, so that's not big of a concern. And but see, this is what happened. This is what every Man United fan, we have been discussing this in every particular platform, that we lack squad depth, and now this is the problem that we are facing. Antony is injured. Anthony Martial is again injured. I've been saying this again and again. He plays one game and then he's injured. He's actually like a stripper hanging upside down. You don't know when he's gonna fall off. And see, now again, he was there for like a specific amount of time in his last match, and then since then he's been invisible. Again, see, this is why we want a new number 9. And there are actually, I'm gonna talk about the transfers also, but before that, let's talk about the injuries. And Antony, look at that. Antony is injured. Erik Ten Hag mentioned this in his press conference that Antony won't be available. Scott McTominay has picked up a knock. When will he be back? He never mentioned that. So, you know, we have been saying this again and again. Erik Ten Hag's press conferences are very, you know, one-liners or sort of this. So he doesn't give that much information from the squad. And that is very disheartening, because Scott McTominay hasn't played that number of games in the past week, or maybe in the past month, and now he is injured. He has picked up a knock too, and Anthony Martial is again injured. Antony is injured. We already had Casemiro banned for 3 games, and then Donny van de Beek is out for the rest of the season, and Christian Eriksen, he's back out for 3 months. So kind of like, we don't have anyone in the midfield option, and constantly, repeatedly, every Man United fan has been saying this again and again, that we need a squad, we need squad depth. And look what these assholes have done. All they were doing, all the January weekends, in all those that month, all they could do is wipe their asses of Man United money. That's it. They could have simply, you know, loaned some players from Premier League or from some other league, but they could have done that. But unfortunately, these morons, and in specific, I'm gonna say that Alan Murdoch, because Murdoch is that kind of an idiot who doesn't know how to negotiate, who doesn't know how to do a proper transfer. I still don't get it. How can he be the football director, technical director? Because we were all hoping that Ralf Rangnick is going to be the technical director once Erik Ten Hag accepts his position as the manager. But then Rangnick went back. Erik Ten Hag is the manager of the football club, and Murdoch is still the technical director, footballing director, and that is very frightening, because even if we get new owners, this asshole is gonna stay in that place, and he's gonna shit over every transfer deal that we're gonna make in the future. And that's very frightening for a Man United fan, because you know this, that he's gonna screw up. Even if Glazers were not spending in that generosity, but still they were giving money, and Murdoch was the one who was actually doing negotiations around the world. And let me remind you, because every single player that we bought in at Man United was overpriced. Nobody was trying to purchase that player, so there was not any transfer race, or kind of busy window, because every single player that we have bought, whether it's Fernandes, Antony, Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, Sancho, no other footballing club was in for them. It was just Man United, and the respective team, the home team, actually said that we're going to charge you for this much for this person, and you have to pay for it. And these assholes, in specific Alan Murdoch, this asshole, he has no footballing sense. He couldn't even do one bargaining deal. He paid 50 million quid for Wan-Bissaka. I mean, he's a good player. He's a very important player as of now. He's a very good defensive right back. But 50 million quid was way too much for Wan-Bissaka. 90 million for Antony, and then 80 million quid for Harry Maguire for that piece of clay. I mean, He's good for nothing. I wish we could sell him, but we all know that nobody's gonna purchase that man because he's on ridiculous amount of wages. He's sort of a football club captain, but he's on I don't even have a word to say something against him because everybody's pissed and annoyed with him. If we still need a central midfielder in our if everybody's fit back to their potential, everybody's fit, no injuries and Man United squad, still we're gonna need one striker, one midfielder, one centre back, and definitely a one other goalkeeper because Tom Heaton is not a long-term solution, and Dean Henderson is way too what should I say, is way too number one for playing a part 2 role. So that is very disappointing, but that we are already lacking in many departments. We are already lacking in many aspects of footballing field, and still we are picking up injuries week after week, week after week. First there was Donny van der Beek in the starting month of this January. Then after Van der Beek, it was Christian Eriksen. Then it was Anthony Martial. I mean, Anthony Martial is like a regular person who visits orthopedic center, but now it's Anthony too. I mean, I have no idea if these people are actually picking up knocks again and again. What's gonna happen in the month of March? What's gonna happen in the second half of the season when it's really tight and it's really exhausting for these international footballers? What's gonna happen to them? If Bruno Fernandes is not available or he picks up a knock, what's gonna happen in the midfield? Because you know as much as I do that Harry Maguire will be back on the field and he will be with that armband around his arm. I feel like just running him over with a car, but unfortunately I can't do that. But I can do that, but I don't want to do that because I'm way too cute for jail. But this is what we have been saying again and again. We lack squad depth. We don't have enough players, and now when we are approaching summer window, now there are ridiculous information floating around Manchester United, and now there's some news that Man United are actually considering Harry Kane as the /1 marquee signing. He's a good striker. I'm not gonna say he's a bad striker. He's a good striker. He's a world class professional. I don't want him around my team because he's gonna be 30 years old in June. That man is gonna be 30 years. If Erik Ten Hag is building something that is that involves young talent, that involves talent who has a potential to be world class, Harry Kane is not gonna be that particular choice. And you know what worries me? That the people who are at the top of the club, they're gonna actually want to sign Harry Kane because he's an English legend. He just scored 268 goals. He's the top scorer of Spurs now. So, and if I'm not wrong, he has a couple of years or maybe one more year left with his contract, or maybe he just signed a new deal. I guess he signed a new deal. And even if though he's approaching 30 years, Daniel Levy from Spurs, he's gonna laid back. He's gonna get laid back, and he's gonna simply say, "I want 100 million." I mean, I can personally guarantee that Harry Kane, if he comes to any Premier League club, it's not gonna be less than 90 million. I can personally vouch for that. Because there is some obsession with the old football clubs that we need to have a English centre forward, English world class striker in our team. He's a great striker. I'm not saying he's bad. He's actually Premier League proven. But look at him. He's 30 years old. You don't want a 30-year-old as the marquee signing. You want somebody who's at least in his mid-20s. There are news that Victor Osimhen is also another choice for Erik Ten Hag. Erik Ten Hag is actually looking for Victor Osimhen. He's going to cost you at least 120 million. And if I'm investing 100 million, 120 million, I want one player who can actually play for my team for at least 3 to 4 years, not just 1 year or 2 years. We need somebody who can actually play for 3 to 4 years or at least 5 years. What's Harry Kane is gonna offer? I mean, Victor Osimhen is a mid-20s guy. He still hasn't reached his full potential. He's gonna develop and become a world class professional. Harry Kane is already a world class professional. He's 30 years. He's gonna be 30 years old. He's Premier League proven. I'm sure he's Premier League proven. No, he's a great talent. But unfortunately, he's gonna be 30. Now his potential is going to decline. You can't expect Harry Kane to put in 8 and 9's kind of performance in every single match. And if we are talking about accolades, what has he done? He hasn't achieved anything in Spurs. He hasn't achieved anything before Spurs. So why do you want to, just because he's the top goal scorer of Spurs, you want to pay 100 million for that? I mean, Spurs never achieved anything. So being the top scorer of a particular football team who never won anything, why do you want to buy 100 million? Why do you want to pay 100 million bucks for that man who hasn't? I mean, like, I'm out of words. That's the biggest problem. Harry Kane is the most idiotic decision, and I know in my gut that these assholes are gonna sign Harry Kane because he's an English striker. And this is what worries me. We need new technical director. We need somebody like Ralph Rangnick or maybe Van der Sar. We need these people who are experienced and who know how to make negotiations, how to do transfer business. We don't need Alan Murdoch and Glazer's people, because this is what's gonna, again bring the decline of Man United. Look what happened to us in this decade. Look where we are when we were under Alex Ferguson, and look now where we are right now. We are actually relying on other teams so they can win the league, so our record is not broken. So I don't want that in the future. I want Manchester United to defeat Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City and every other European club so that we can be back on the top. I want to see Man United. I want to see Fernandes, Man United lifting treble again. I know it's a class of 99, it's a totally different thing, but still I want that to happen. I'm a Man United fan. I want this jersey to mean something. I just don't want any other apparel just because I bought this apparel, so I have to wear it. I want to wear it with proud. When I'm proud of my club, I want to wear it with pride. Because if you're wearing this jersey, you need to play at the highest level. Harry Kane is already washed up striker. He's not going to give you anything, and that is what worries me. And if these assholes are going to sign him, I mean, if you're going to talk about strikers, if Victor Osimhen is way too expensive for Man United, there is Sesko, there is Vlahovic, and there was one other guy. I'm forgetting his name. Ramos. There was Ramos, Vlahovic, and I just mentioned his name and I forgot. I just mentioned his name. Sesko. So, there are options out there, but unfortunately, these assholes are going to stick with the English striker mentality. I'm sorry. And that is what frightens me, because if that's going to happen, I mean, if he's going to don the jersey, if he's wearing that number 9 jersey, of course I'll support him. Of course he's going to be a Man United player. I mean, I backed Fellaini. I hated Fellaini, but I backed Fellaini. I was sick and tired of Di Maria, but still, when he was wearing a number 7 shirt, I never wanted us to sign Di Maria, but still, when he was wearing a Di Maria shirt, I was okay with it. I was supporting him. But I don't want Harry Kane, I don't want Di Maria and Fellaini sort of people who are actually not that level or not at that level that we want them to be. So that is something that scares me off as far as number 9 position is concerned. We still need a central midfielder, we need a centre back, we need another goalkeeper, and let's not forget the right back situation, whether he's going to stick with the Wan-Bissaka in the summer window or he's going to sell him off and buy another one. So there are tons and tons of positions, and now we are picking up knocks in the middle of the month, and this is just February. There are still many games left in March and April, and that's gonna be really exhausting for every single professional footballer, let alone Man United. So we really need to think about that too. And let's talk about we talked about injuries, and let's talk about players who are actually up for sale, because there are some news floating. I wish there are some credibility as far as this news is concerned, because there's the news is that Anthony Martial and Harry Maguire could be sold off in the summer. I mean, I love Anthony Martial. I was his biggest fan. I said this in my last video also, because I loved that debut goal against Liverpool. But the guy needs to work on his fitness, or he just needs to leave. I don't want a number 9 of Man United who spends his months on emergency benches. I don't want that sort of a striker. I want somebody number 9, even if he's not scoring goals. At least he was doing something. He was good at hold up play. He was good at counter attacking. He was good at attacking wise. I need that Anthony Martial. Even if he's not available for those things, I don't want that number 9. I want him to be sold off. I want him to be shipped off anywhere in the world, but not at Man United. I need a number 9 player. And Harry Maguire, I mean, obviously Harry Maguire is an English centre back, and he needs to play a first team football action. But as far as I'm concerned, and I think so as far as Erik Ten Hag is concerned, he's not going to give them any. He's not going to give him any opportunity, because Varane and Martinez is undoubtedly best centre back pairing after Vidic and Ferdinand. So I'm pretty much happy with them. I don't want any other pairing. Even if we buy one centre back who can play a number 2 role, fine, I'm okay with it. But as of now, I'm pretty much happy with Varane and Martinez. I don't want any other centre back to. And Harry Maguire, the least of all. Harry Maguire should be shipped off to Mexico or Italy or Spain or wherever he wants to go. Even if he wants to go to Championship, I'm okay with it. But he needs to leave Man United. He really needs to leave Man United. He's on ridiculous amount of wages also. Don't forget that. He's on ridiculous amount of wages because he's the club captain. He was bought in as the club captain, and that is frightening actually. But enough about the injuries and transfer rumors. I'm gonna talk about one thing. I really need to quote this out. So just give me a second. Where have I read that? Okay, it was about Qatari Investment. It was QSI, Qatari Investment. I'm forgetting their full name, but the QSI investment portfolio, which is based in Qatar, and they actually own PSG. So they are and this is not coming from me. This is coming from Mike Keegan from Daily Mail, and they are actually interested in buying Man United, but in totality. They don't want a particular stake. They don't want some percentage. They want to buy Man United as of complete, as a sole owner. I'm okay with it, as long as because look at what happened with Man City. They are actually facing some allegations and some fraud cases as of this oil ownership. So I'm not so sure, but look at we have another prime example of PSG, because PSG is also owned by QSI, and they are doing pretty much fine. They have signed Neymar, Mbappe, Messi, Marquinhos. So they have football stalwarts in their footballing team, and they have never faced anything. So I'm not even against this, and if it's coming from Mike Keegan, who's actually quite a reliable source as far as Man United is concerned, I'm pretty much okay with it. Because if they want, because anybody is better than Glazers. Let's just assume this, because Glazers have been, they have been sucking the blood. They've been sucking money out of this club again and again in every single window. So if I'll be very happy to see the back of Glazers if by any chance I get to see this in this transfer, not the transfer window, but in this season. I really want them to be gone by the end of March. I don't want to hear this Glazer blabber again after April, because if they are gone by the end of March, we can actually focus on the new owners, and then we can actually talk about the potential signings that we can do. But before that news, I don't think so. It's gonna happen, because this is coming from Mike Keegan. He's a reliable source. But as long as somebody from QSI or somebody from Man United is actually talking about it, I'm not gonna buy that. But let's see what happens. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this up now because we have a match day. We're gonna I don't think so we're gonna go live, because like I said, I can't go live with my mobile, and because of less subscribers and everything. And as of now, it's very irritating to watch a match and then, you know, simultaneously I'm not going to talk about it on my webcam, because that's going to be really irritating for me also, because I like to scream when I'm watching Man United and abuse too. So, you know, as of this moment I'm not going to do that, but soon we're going to go do that too. Until then, thank you for watching, tuning in and watching the show. Please support the channel, subscribe to it, like the video, press the bell icon if you're already a subscriber. Definitely, I promise you, definitely we're gonna talk about the match reaction tonight after the match. Until then, please take care of yourselves. Glory, glory, Man United. Bye bye, guys.